Good evening, everybody, and good evening, Joel Kettle. Thank you for joining us this evening.
No, thank you for having me, Kev. Nice to be here.
I should say Captain Joel Kettle, of course.
Yes, that's the role, that's the responsibility for this year. Yeah.
So, Joel, you've been at Tamworth a little while now, but the purpose of these interviews is for fans, to get to know the players a bit more on a personal level, rather than just turn up on the day, play, and get to know you a little bit more. So, where did football start for you?
Pretty much like everyone really. Junior football, started 5 or 6, just playing locally for clubs in and around Smethwick and the Albury area, and then obviously just progressing, getting older through school, county, district, and then into men's football really from there, straight in.
Were you at any professional clubs, any football league clubs?
No. I like to think I've done it the hard way. I think, especially at this level and the level above kind of thing, you tend to find players who are at professional clubs, maybe at academies or maybe even professionals, and then they drop out of the game to this level, where I think I've done it the hard way, and the fact that I've never really been at a professional club. So every club that I've been at, I've had to like earn my stripes kind of thing, and then work my way up through the league. So I've done it the hard way. I don't know whether that's through luck or bad luck, or through lack of talent, but I'm here where I am today through hard work. So
some would say the less pampered way then.
Yeah,
so kids at professional clubs seem to be pampered quite a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, coaching, I've probably had lack of coaching compared to some of the players, and yeah, I say, had to just be my own mentor and learn the hard way. But I started young, so I think I faced all the challenges when I was young. So like at this stage of my career now, there's nothing really that I've not faced. So the experience bodes well in the long run.
Great. And when you're not playing football for Tamworth, what do you do?
So currently at the moment, I'm self-employed and do anything to do with window blinds. So from manufacturing to fitting to repairing. Started a business with my partner. And yeah, we just do everything window blinds. So that's domestically or companies. So if anyone needs any blinds, they know where to go. Yeah.
And one of the club's sponsors, of course, is Bradley Scott Windows, so you could maybe form some kind of a partnership there.
Not anymore. My company can be put on the side there instead. We'll take over that.
So, where have you played your football previously then? What are your previous clubs?
Yeah, so as I say, not really been at a professional club. When I was 15, 16 years of age, I started at the old Bromsgrove Rovers, had a friend there, a physio. So I was in the under 18s, under 21s. Come out of there, and then that's where I joined my friend's dad's team at Tividale, a team in and around this level. Had quite a bit of success there, quickly developed and went into the men's team, and since about 16 been playing men's and professional football, I'd say, with Tividale, and then from there to Sutton Coldfield. I mean, I can go on, but I'll be brief. I've had quite a few clubs. Not I'm a journeyman, or I'll get myself about a bit, but yeah, so from Sutton and then 2 clubs in and around this level, like Howes Owen, Stourbridge, and then Rushall, where that was a couple of seasons ago, where I was doing very well, and then I attracted the attention of Solihull Moors in the National League, and then made my debut and made nearly 40 appearances in the National League. So that was just halfway through the end of last season before I came here.
And then you joined Tamworth initially on loan towards the end of last season, and then obviously a mass exodus over the summer. A lot of things changed at Tamworth Football Club, but was it always your intention to play for Tamworth this season?
This season, yeah. Initially when I joined from Solihull, it wasn't my intention. First of all, obviously I was at Solihull Moors and I was enjoying there, and obviously playing the highest non-league level I could, but they decided to move the goalposts for one reason or another, and it ended up working in their favour. So yeah, they went to like a full-time or 3-day training basis, but as you say, as just mentioned earlier, I work and have full-time work commitments, so that was something I couldn't commit to, so I had to come out of Solihull and then find a home elsewhere and find football elsewhere. Initially it came on a loan, and I signed permanently here towards the end of last season. But this season, yeah, definitely. After sitting down with Mike and hearing what he wanted to do this season and the direction the club wanted to go in, and also the club itself, its infrastructure, its reputation, it's a giant, I think, in the non-league level. So to be part of that and to be part of the journey to potentially get back to Tamworth to where it deserves to be was a big plus, as well as obviously the manager and the ideas he had. So yeah, Tamworth's definitely where I wanted to be at the start of this season, and yeah, the rest is history. Signed on the dotted line and then announced as captain. So yeah.
Well, that was leading on to my next point, actually, Joel, about the captaincy, and does it bring its own pressures, really?
It does, because you're accountable for a lot more things. You're accountable for the dressing room. You're accountable to keeping your players at the levels that they need to be at. You have to liaise a lot more with the management team, and also you have to make sure that players are being looked after. But it's something that I think it's in my makeup, it's in my DNA. I thrive off it. I'm a good people person, and I see myself as probably a good example for yourselves, for the fans to see. I try my best. I try and play to my best ability every game. Try and give 110%. So I think seeing that and seeing what I do off the pitch in the dressing room was something that Mike saw had in my locker, and then yeah, obviously I put my name down to be the captain, and then yeah, he made the decision, and it's as I say, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, and it's a great responsibility to be captain of this football club. As I say, such a big football club in my eyes, and yeah, hopefully it's the correct decision, and I can help lead both the team and the dressing room and the players to success this season.
I was going to say, and hopefully go on to be making history as a club captain as well, with league success and maybe cup success this season, something we've not had a lot of in the last few seasons in the cups.
Yeah, funny enough, I think I heard echoes of a stat over 1,000 days or something before Tamworth had last won a cup competition, and yeah. So yeah, and that's a target we want to obviously better Saturday in the FA Cup. On a personal note, the FA Cup's important for a non-league football. Everyone says the magic of the FA Cup, and it'd be great to get our names in the next in the hat for the next round following Saturday. So definitely a goal to try and get through to the next round of the FA Cup for both the club and on a personal level.
Yeah, well, we're less than 48 hours away from that game at Hinsford, so fingers crossed. What do you feel so far? We're sort of 7 games into the season now, 6 league games and that thumping cup victory the other night here at the CRMOT Centre Community Stadium at the Lamb. And what do you feel are the positives that you can take out of the season so far after a really let's be honest, a difficult start? Yeah,
we're not going to hide from it. The levels weren't quite there for one reason or another. We can blame the officials, we can blame this, we can blame. But from in-house and from my point of view, as standards, we weren't at it at the start of the season. That's ourselves to blame. We were prepared correctly. The managers give us the instructions. We've had a good pre-season, but for some reason we just didn't hit the ground running. But as I say, the positives, I think that key word, momentum and confidence, I think now we're starting to look like a side who's capable of doing something this season in this league. And that 6-0 win Tuesday night, I think, was coming. I think that could have happened to a number of teams this season, but it came on Tuesday night. So I just think that's a good progression. We've started below our standards, but now we're starting to set a standard now, and I think anything below what we've been like the last couple of games, Rushaw and obviously Tuesday night, isn't going to be acceptable now. So from a point of view from the fans and for the club, I think if you see anything less than what you saw against, for example, here against Rushaw and against Kettle, I think that's not where we're at, and where we should be at is the standards that we've set in those 2 games.
Okay. Finally, what are your personal aims and goals, realistically, for the rest of the season?
Well, if I'm being optimistic, I'd love to get into the first round of the FA Cup from a personal point perspective. It's something that I've not really achieved in my career, getting into the first round of the FA Cup. So to do that for myself, and obviously then it would benefit obviously the club if it did so. But the big one for me is promotion from this league, whether that's through automatic or another means. to lift the trophy or to be the captain at the end of this club and to see it go back into the National League North isn't the most dominant thing that I think we need to try and aim for, and what I personally want to do. Promotion for me. I think anything less than that, I think I can put this season down to as a failure for myself.
Okay. Joel, it's been an absolute pleasure.
No, thank you.
And we'll catch up with you again a bit later in the season, no doubt. And tonight, thank you for your time.
Cheers, thank you for having me.